Brovy is hired. Hey, what's up you guys, this is SGB618 here, and today I'm going to be doing something I wouldn't normally do on my channel. Now obviously you guys know I am a Mario YouTuber, but also I like to do other Nintendo games too. So today we're going to be going back to Pokemon again. Now I have seen on YouTube that plenty of other Pokemon YouTubers have been doing this thing, talking about what if there were a champion, what would their Elite Four and surroundings be like, or like what would their team be like. And I thought it was very interesting. So even though I'm not a Pokemon YouTuber, I'm more of a Mario and mainly as a whole Nintendo, hence why I'm doing this video. I actually wanted to do it because I've been really interested, and also it's much more fun to plan this video than I thought. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and without further ado, let's get started. So you guys should know this already, most Elite Fours are pretty much like in a hall, and then you have to go through the hall. That's very boring, we're gonna scratch that. Now, plenty other YouTubers, they've thought of a jungle theme or a tropical theme, and no offense to those YouTubers, those are a really good idea, but because I want to be the person with a unique type of idea, I'm going to be scrapping that too. But my one is actually going to be in space, but let me explain what I'm talking about. So Steven will be part of this Elite Four, and before you go to the Elite Four, he will give you Latias or Latios, I think depending on what game you get, I'm not really sure, but then that is your transport to go from planet to planet. Now you might be wondering, why do I need to go from planet to planet? Well, each Elite Four member will be on a different planet. Oh, you see what I'm doing? Yeah, so they're going to be on different planets, and then that planet will be the theme of their type, or just reflecting their personality or something. I'll go into more details in a second, but now let's talk about the characters, or the Elite Four members, whatever. So then you fly to the first planet, which it will be covered in grass, and that might give you a hint, maybe not, but it's one of my favourite Sun and Moon people characters, if that makes any sense. Mallow. Seriously, how many Nintendo characters are named Mallow? Seriously. But anyway, you'll go up to her and she'll say, I became an Elite Four member because the other members think my food is the best. I'm now going to give you the best taste of a battle ever, and then the battle will start. Now because she is the leader of a grass trial in Sun and Moon, obviously her team will consist of grass type Pokemon. So her first member that she sends out will be Whimsicott. These are just some Pokemon that I've randomly selected. Obviously it's really good in battle, it has the Prankster ability, so it could be messing you up a little bit. You deal with that, you have to deal with her Leafeon, who has very distracting moves, so you might want to be careful there. Next up, she has a Serperior. Now, even though it only learns grass and normal type moves, those moves could be really decent. And then I decided to put in Parasect, because if you're trying to look for wild Pokemon in a trial, then Parasect is quite rare there. And because some people think that, oh, I can just sweep her Parasect, I'm going to give her Parasect to Focus Sash to make things harder, and then straight after they try to do a fire type move, it will use Spore. Yeah, I'm very evil. But if you do eventually take that out, you have to deal with her Lurantis, which will obviously be her ace slash, well, it doesn't have a Mega Evolution, but it will be a Z move user. So you beat her and she congratulates you, and then she points to the next planet that you have to go to. So this Elite Four member is quite interesting because most people like to use characters that already exist. Well, this character I've made up myself, and I'll go into that in a second. But this planet is full of fog, like really dark fog, and I think that can give you a hint as to what type this character uses. And I've named this character Luther, and he looks like this. Now, this isn't actually my design, I found it off of the internet. This is actually the official art of it and the artist that did it. I didn't want to take all credit for it because I basically just modified it just a tiny bit. But yeah, that's the artist. But Luther, he will go up, when you walk up to him, he will say, "My dark types comfort me and I trained them the best I possibly could. I will show you, my dark types are the best." And then the battle begins. He's a really dark character, I know. Yeah, pun intended, I already know. So his first member that he'll bring out is his Umbreon, another evolution. Not much to say here, but I think he's pretty fast, don't quote me on that. Next up, you have Bishop, another good dark type Pokemon, and he also has a Crawdon. I think I'm pronouncing that wrong. Don't bother correcting me, I don't really know. But some people may be wondering, why did I decide to put secondary typings? Well, it's obviously to make it harder, so that people don't sweep the entire team, because that's no fun, right? The fourth member that he sends out is Houndoom. So straight after the grass type, you will encounter Houndoom, so make sure that you do not send out any of your grass types, or fairy types, whatever. And his ace will be his Hydreigon. So I fully made up this team, and it was really fun to make. And obviously Hydreigon doesn't have a Mega Evolution, hence he's going to use a Z Crystal or something. But then you beat him too, he congratulates you and then points you to the next planet, much like the previous one. So then you're on your way to the next planet, and then you encounter a planet that looks very stylish. Because this Elite Four member doesn't really have an exclusive type, I decided to go with something that kind of reflects him. And if you guys haven't noticed already, this guy is Hugh, and he is one of my favourite Pokemon rivals. I just think he's so cool, and his battle theme is my favourite battle theme, hands down. But yeah, so once you encounter Hugh himself, he will say to you, "My sister said I'm the best brother ever. I got her Pokemon back and she was happy. I heard there was an Elite Four, so I've made it this far. Let's see how long you last." And then the battle begins. It is on, my friends. So the first person that Hugh sends out is his Simipour. I'm actually going to go for his rival team, like quite later in the game. Simipour knows Scald, so be careful with your fire types as they can get burned, I think. Or some other type that's weak to water, I don't know. Second, he's going to take out his Bouffalont, which I believe has Head Charge, so you might want to be careful there. Then thirdly, he's got his Flygon, and he's a pretty decent Dragon type. Now, even though I do prefer Garchomp in my opinion, and so does my cousin Finite 5000, I think he's still pretty good and he's quite fast. Then he's going to send out Electros, which has no weakness because it has Levitate, and I believe it has Super Fang and some other threatening electric type move. And then finally his ace will be his Emboar. Yes, I decided to go for his Emboar team because I thought it was the most threatening, and I think it's the most relevant, if that makes any sense. But then you beat him, and then he congratulates you and then points you to the final Elite Four member planet. So then you go on to the final planet, your final Elite Four battle before you face the champion. And this is when you find out who is your last challenger. And then he turns around and you see him, it's Wally. And he's just like in Auras, he's standing around a bunch of nice flowers, and he's standing in the middle of like a garden looking setting, and everything looks really nice. But then once you talk to him and you go up to him, he says to you, "Hello challenger, I used to be the worst trainer of all time. I didn't even know how to throw a Pokeball properly. But then I learned and I became one of the best. Let's see if you are one of them too." And then the battle starts. Now this team was very interesting because obviously you guys know he has a Delcatty and he has a Magneton at the end of his Auras team. But then I decided to go with, I believe, his Battle Mason team. So they're much stronger and he has slightly different Pokemon and he's replaced some of his Pokemon. So just bear with me for a little bit. So the first Pokemon that he sends out is his Roserade, because obviously by Gen 4, Roselia did get an evolution, so why not evolve it? Then he gets a Talonflame, because that's what he has in Auras, I think, from my memory. Then he sends out Magnezone, obviously he evolved it in Auras. And then for Garchomp, because apparently that's what he uses, like towards the end of the game in the Battle Mason. And obviously his ace will be his Gallade, and he can actually Mega Evolve, so it's likely that he will Mega Evolve Gallade, or he will give it a Z Crystal, whatever, I don't know. But then you beat him too, and then he congratulates you of beating the whole Elite Four, and then he will direct you to the rocket ship that will take you to your final planet, because Latios cannot handle the speed that you have to go to this next planet, and I will explain that in just a second. But congratulations, you have just beaten the Elite Four. Now the final planet, your final planet, no more Elite Four members, just you and the champion. But where is the planet, and why can't Latias and Latios go to it? Well, that's because it is floating on top of the sun, not exactly sitting on it, but it's floating on top of there. So just in case that your dragon roasts to death, and then you get a roasted dragon that you can eat while you're hungry, which is kind of weird. I don't see why you would want to eat a roasted Latias or Latios, but you use a rocket to make it more stable to go over the sun, and then you go on the final planet, and then you walk in, and it is in the shape of Mario's head, and you can probably tell who the champion is. It's me. So then you walk in to Mario's cap, and then you will see me on my phone, or no, actually you will go, the room is empty, I'm not in there. You go on my desk, the chair next to my desk, and then you sit down, and then I'm like, hey, get out of my chair, what are you doing? And then you get off, and then I sit back in my chair, I turn around to face the other direction, and then I turn back around to you and say, welcome challenger. So once you trigger that cutscene, I will say to you, hey, what's up mate, I'm the champion of this Elite Four, and my team are really powerful. Please don't be scared though, I want you to have a fun battle with me. Show me what you've got, here we go. And that is the last battle that will occur on this special occasion. So my battle theme, something that some other YouTubers haven't talked about, my battle theme will be very similar to Hugh's battle theme, but not exactly the same, because otherwise I'll get made fun of. People say, oh, how original or something. But since Hugh is by far my favourite battle theme that he has, I decided to make sure that my battle theme sounds very similar to that. So, going into my team, the first Pokemon that I send out is an Incineroar. Oh, that's no problem, I'll just one-shot it with close combat. Oh, my friend, I'm going to use an X defense on it to make sure that it does not go down without leaving a few scars on you. Next up, we have Dragonite. It is holding a Focus Band, so try to use your Ice Beams, but it's probably unlikely that you're going to one-shot this bulky dragon. Next up, you have Tyranitar. So I'm not entirely sure what item I'm going to give it, but it's definitely going to be a very hard match. Then I'm going to send out Electivire. Now he is a pure electric type, but he actually learns Earthquake and Rock Slide, so make sure that you don't send out any of your fire, flying or electric types, because that would be very stupid of you to do that. Then you should send out your then I'm going to send out Charizard, which is my childhood favourite Pokemon. If you guys have been on my channel for a while, you will know that I really like Charizard. But obviously he's not Mega Evolved, so I'm going to put some kind of item on it. I'm going to put a Focus Sash on it to make sure that you guys' Rock Slides don't land a one-hit KO thing, I don't know. And then finally, my all-time favourite Pokemon. If you guys do not know who my favourite Pokemon is, that only doesn't mean that you're not one of my friends, but also you don't know who my assistant is, and also you haven't been on my channel as long as some other people. My all-time favourite Pokemon and my ace of my team will obviously be my non-Mega Z move using, close combat amazingly, if that makes any sense, extremely physical offensive, etc. Lucario. That was such a mouthful to say. But obviously Lucario is going to be he's my favourite Pokemon, and he's really, really good. So what I'm going to do is, he is going to have obviously close combat. He won't have an item 3 because you have a Z Crystal, which is kind of unfortunate, but I'm probably going to give it Titanium Z, and he should probably wreck house, because he's a Lucario. Now don't get me wrong, Mega Lucario is still awesome, but I've always preferred regular Lucario. And notice how my team is some of my favourite Pokemon. That is what a team should be. That is what a team should be. But then, once you take out my Lucario, once you take out my Charizard and all the rest of my team, congratulations! You are now the champion. You've taken out my Elite Four, you flew my rocket, you sat in my chair, I don't even know what you did to my laptop, but you triggered me, I kicked you out of my chair, and then you beat my team. Congratulations, you are the champion of the Pokemon game that I'm the champion in. But anyway guys, that's gonna wrap up this video, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a like and subscribe for some more content. Like I said, this video was inspired by Birdkeeper Toby's video, so make sure that you check out that video afterwards. And also comment down below what your Elite Four and Champion thing would be like. That would be a very long description in the comments, but you can do it if you want to. But anyway guys, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.